If you feel unhappy or dissatisfied with how things are currently, maybe you feel like you were meant for more, you're meant to live this like big grand life, it's actually a good sign because it means deep down you believe that you were meant for more. And that's why you're so unhappy and dissatisfied with what's going on right now. It's already June, so you're probably thinking, where did the time go? But June is also a really great month because it means you have 6 months left until the new year. So what better time than now to reinvent yourself, because you have 6 months left. If you can commit to something for 6 months, you can really change your life. You're gonna be shocked by how much can change in 6 months. So let's talk about how to reinvent yourself before 2026. The version of you that started 2025 is not gonna be the same version of you that's gonna walk into 2026. So if you're ready to reset your energy, update your routines, and quietly reinvent yourself before the year ends, this one's for you. Here's a full reset routine, mindset shifts, daily habits, and glow up rituals to help you change your life. The first thing you have to do is a mindset reset. So ask yourself, what version of you are you tired of being? There are things in life where you're like, these are my wildest dreams, like these are the things that I think about that I'm like too afraid to even say out loud. Think about that and think about what versions of you do you need to let go in order to get there. Ask yourself what limiting beliefs still shape your daily decisions. If you struggle with stuff like this and you talk to ChatGPT a lot, you can ask it, what are some of your limiting beliefs? Because sometimes these are blind spots. Sometimes you don't know what these are about yourself. You might be able to clock it in other people really quickly and easily, but it's difficult to think about it and have perspective when it's about you. And who do you follow on your feed that actually drains you or make you feel more insecure? A really good technique is to just rewrite whatever limiting thought that you have. So if you have a negative thought, if you're like scrolling and you see like a really hot person, you're like, wow, they're so skinny and they're so beautiful and whatever, and you start to have negative feelings about yourself. So instead of letting that thought just kind of live, you're gonna actually say the opposite, and you're gonna do it 3 times, 5 times, or 7 times. So maybe you have a negative thought like, I'm so unhealthy. Then you're gonna rewrite that. You're gonna be like, oh, I'm actually so healthy. I actually eat a lot of vegetables. I actually drink a ton of water. I work out a lot. I've been growing muscle. I've been walking more. So you're gonna do this 3 times, 5 times, or 7 times, and by the end, your mind and your brain will start to believe it. And instead of just letting that negative thought fester, you've instead created like 7 different positive thoughts that your brain can go to rather than like focusing on the negative part. And when you do this, you start to rewire your identity, and you start to believe in this new version of you, and you step into this like, it's like stepping into your power and becoming the version of you that is gonna have everything that you want. And you can write down something like, I'm no longer available for blank. And you can write down all of the things that you're basically unsubscribing from and you're no longer going to be available for, because your energy is actually so precious. Whenever you give attention to anything that's negative, like say you reply to a negative comment or something like that, you're actually like, you lose some of that energy. So you don't even want to pay attention to it. The best thing you can do is really ignore it. You don't feed it energy, it'll basically die, and then you'll have more energy for the things that you actually want to do. So a personal example is, I feel like I struggle with binge eating and I saw this girl on social media say that binge eating, she feels like it's a form of punishment, like you're punishing yourself. I started to realize that the feelings of like guilt and shame that you have after you have like a binge or a cheat day or whatever, I actually think that is what feeds it, because you're feeding your energy into this guilt and into this shame, and those are very negative feelings and emotions, and it makes it grow. So what I started doing is, if I have a cheat day, if a crazy weekend day, and the next day I start to feel like guilty or shame, I redirect that energy and I tell myself like, it's okay, you can have a cheat meal, you can have a cheat day, because you're so healthy like 90% of the time. Just like rewiring your brain to thinking more positively. And when you take the guilt and the shame out of it, you're so much less likely to do it because you're not like feeding this negative cycle, this negative loop. The next one is going to be a routine reset. This is going to be setting you up for success. You want to do a basic morning routine that you actually look forward to. You can also habit stack your rituals. So maybe you drink water, you do a little workout It doesn't have to be crazy. If you're a beginner, you can just do like a 5-minute yoga. Or if you're like really into fitness, whatever your workout routine is, your gym routine, stack that with water, stack that with journaling, stack that with meditation. It's just gonna really set you up for a day of success. You can also do this with your night routine, because then it's gonna help you get a good night's sleep and again help set you up for success. So you can read, you can drink some tea, like some sleeping tea. You can do like a mindful skincare routine. You can do again like a night gratitude journal. These are all going to be very helpful. The next one is going to be your environment reset. Now, I don't recommend doing like a declutter or like a big spring clean all in one day, because I know it looks really like aesthetic on social media, but it honestly is exhausting. What I recommend instead is focusing on one thing per day. So maybe behind your closet door is day 1. Maybe your drawer is day 2. Maybe your kitchen cabinet's day 3. And after just 1 week, you're literally going to be shocked by how much you've gotten done. And each day only takes you like 15-20 minutes, so it doesn't feel like exhausting and draining. And you're just going to get into this habit of keeping your space clean and also getting rid of the things that no longer bring you joy, and kind of being very mindful about your space and curating a space that inspires you. And when you're sitting in this space and it's clean and it's nice, you're gonna feel less stressed. You're gonna feel just so much lighter. So here's 3 different ways that you can kind of refresh your space that's very inexpensive and very easy to do. First one is lighting. I recently learned from this like interior design influencer that I watch, where basically he's like, there should be 3 types of lighting in your room, like a lamp, like some wall sconces or some kind of ambient light, and then kind of like an overhanging light. And he says like when you have 3 different types of light like this, it really makes your space super cozy. And it actually is very true, and it's a very inexpensive thing to do because a lamp is, you know, quite affordable. But you can also do scents. So maybe you light a candle, you put in like a diffuser. Changing the scent of your space can also kind of mentally give you that refresh. And the last one is music. I've been putting on music when I clean or when I do chores. It's completely changed the vibes. I'm like so much happier, like singing out loud, and it just makes it a much more positive experience. And a really fun one is making vision boards for your phone, your iPads, and making it your like lock screen. So every time you see it, you're like motivated. And even when you're not like consciously motivated by it, you looking at it all the time, it'll kind of like subconsciously change your mind about it as well. The next one is going to be your financial reset. So do a financial detox. Track everything that you spend for 30 days and then sit down and analyze. The most important thing is that the 3 most important things in your life actually aligns with the top 3 things that you spent money on. So for example, if you feel like the most important things to you is traveling, maybe family and food, that should be where your money is actually going after you've saved and invested for your future. But if you track your expenses and you realize, hey, I'm actually spending a lot of money on random things that I don't really care about, like buying a bunch of stuff I don't actually need because I already have versions of it. Maybe you're buying new makeup, maybe you're buying new clothes, but you don't really need it. And you're not actually spending money on the things that you think you care about or you claim to care about, like traveling or seeing friends and families or eating out. So you just want to make sure you're actually in alignment. Your money should be going to what actually serves you and what makes you feel empowered. So random subscriptions that you don't even use, like definitely cancel those. It's not adding to your life. You want to make sure that the way that you spend adds value into your life instead of putting you into a bad place financially. And I think the biggest thing is looking and checking, because a lot of the times when you're bad with money, you're like scared to even look because you're like, I don't even want to know how bad it is. But knowing gives you the power to fix it. Yeah, and it empowers you to live your life in a way that actually aligns with your goals. And set a financial goal to hit before 2026, even if it's something super small, like putting $50 in your Roth every paycheck. The next one is your aesthetic and your identity reset. Now, a lot of people will say that they like to put makeup on and get ready every single day because it makes them feel good when they're just working from home or if they're just going to their 9 to 5. I actually disagree with this, only because wearing makeup every day is bad for your skin and can lead to premature aging. But I am all about getting ready and looking put together. So that could be doing your hair. Maybe for you it's doing your skincare or your makeup. And I love those videos where it's like, no makeup, get ready with me. And you just put on like a tinted sunscreen, curl your lashes, spritz a little bit of perfume. There's other ways to do it without having to like sacrifice your skin. And your style is also very important. If you find yourself saving all of your nice things, whether that's like skincare or clothes for like special events, don't do that anymore. Just like start wearing all of your nice clothes now. Start using your nice products now, because it's about the energy and the identity that you're embodying, and it's about telling yourself that you are good enough, that you are worthy now, and you don't need a special occasion to show up as who you want to be, as the version of you that you are trying to become. And a few things that's going to help is your posture and the way that you speak and the way that you show up. So when you're communicating, whether that's like at work or with other people, or especially with yourself, think about the way that you communicate verbally and non-verbally. This is so important because people are only going to be able to pick up what you're putting out. So one thing that's going to help is to slow down when you're talking, and that just gives your brain more time to think, and you're going to be able to come off a lot more eloquent, and that psychologically makes people think that you're more competent and better at your job, even if you're not. So definitely take the time to do that. And then when you're talking to yourself, again, be kind to yourself and be nurturing. Be nurturing to the person that you are trying to become instead of putting yourself down. So important, the things that you say to yourself, because they become true. Your thoughts have so much power. If you look around and you don't like what you're seeing in your reality, in your current life, you need to first address and fix your thought patterns and the way that you speak to yourself. So basically just like saying that you deserve to live your dream life now, and you deserve to get the things that you want now, and you're not waiting anymore. Next one's going to be your energy reset. So creating boundaries with your time and your energy. And if you're a people pleaser and you struggle with saying no, don't think about it as saying no. Think about it as saying yes to something else. Someone invites you to something you don't want to go to. You're not saying no to that. You're actually saying yes to going home to your dog and hanging out with your dog. And you much prefer that, and your dog also much prefers it. So every time you're saying no to something, if you're saying no to a bad financial decision, you're also saying yes to future you being financially free. There are people in your life where you feel like they're draining you. Maybe it's time to take a step back. There's people you follow on social media who make you feel insecure. Maybe it's time to unsubscribe and consume content that uplifts you. There's so many different ways. There's books, podcasts, YouTube videos, even on TikTok, honestly. Consume content that is uplifting and positive, even just a little bit a day, because over time it's going to add up and make a huge difference. So this reinvention, it's not about like hustling. It's not about you doing the most every single day. It's more about like your energy, how you're showing up for yourself. You don't need to move, get a new job, or wake up at 5 a.m. to reinvent your life. You just need a new story and small daily choices that support it. So let me know in the comments what's one thing you're resetting before 2026. If you want a full breakdown of how I do my vision board, or like a glow up morning routine, let me know and I'll film that for you. Like, comment, and subscribe, and send this to your bestie who's also in her reinvention arc. Okay, that's it for today's video. Thank you for watching. If you're excited, let me know. If you have questions, let me know, and I will see you next time. Bye!